يا من هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر الخالق البارئ المصور الغفار القهار الوهاب الرزاق الفتاح العليم القابض الباسط الخافض الرافع المعز المذل السميع البصير الحكم العليم اللطيف الخبير العليم العظيم الغفور الشكور العلي الكبير الحفيظ المقيم الحسيب الجليل الكريم الرقيب المجيب الواسع الحكيم الودود المجيد الباعث الشهيد الحق الوكيل القوي المتين الولي الحميد المحسن المبدع المعين المحيي المميت الحي القيوم الواجد الماجد الواحد الصمد القادر المقتدر المقدم المؤخر الأول الآخر الظاهر الباطن الوالي المتعالي البر التواب المنتقم العفو رؤوف مالك الملك ذو الجلال والإكرام المقسط الجامع الغني المغني المانع الضار النافع النور الهادي البديع الباقي الوارث الرشيد الصبور الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير اللهم صل أفضل الصلاة على أسعد المخلوقات كسيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم عدد معلوماتك ومداد كلماتك كلما ذكرك ذاكرون وغفل عن ذكره الغافلون.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear sisters, dear daughters, welcome back to our blessed journey in beautiful names of Allah and in Asma Allah al-Husna, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from all of us these lectures and these sessions that we are sitting together, alhamdulillah, that we remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and He may remember us with in the one or in around Him, inshallah. Today, inshallah, we're going to have two names from beautiful names of Allah, two new names, and inshallah we'll feel that we have a lot of informations about those names that we didn't know before. Me personally, actually, alhamdulillah, I know much about these two names, and as a beginning, as we know, every time we start with Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, his hadith, that verily Allah has 99 names, 100 but one, whosoever knows each and every one of them. And we said knows means believe in them and work according to them will enter or enters the paradise. Now the first name that inshallah today we're going to speak about is Ismullah, or the name of Allah, Al-Hakim. Al-Hakim, which means the all-wise. Al-Hakim, or the all-wise. As the meanings, if you go through the meanings of the name of Allah, Al-Hakim, or all the wise, the meaning came that he has the supreme wisdom in everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the supreme wisdom in everything, in whatever he has decreed, in his legislation and reward and punishment on the day of judgment. We took before the name of Allah last time, the all-knowing, Al-Alim. And actually, when we said Al-Alim, which we meaning that possesses, the one who possesses all the knowledge. And when we come to the name Al-Hakim, or the all-wise, that the all-wise is the acting with this knowledge. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is both the all-knowing and the all-wise, or the most wise. So the difference between Al-Alim, as we mentioned before, that the all-knowing, the knowing of everything, all the knowledge, and then acting through this knowledge is the wise, or all the wise. One of the scholars, his name is Nabulsi, said about the meaning of Allah the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Hakim, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does the proper thing in the proper way, in the proper place and the proper time. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as as his name, all wise, meaning that he does the proper thing in the proper way, in the proper place and in the proper time. Also from the meanings of Al-Hakim, he has given everything its perfect form and created everything in the best possible manner. He never creates anything in vain, nor does he judge in vain. This is from meanings of Al-Hakim. He does things in his absolute wisdom. This is from the meanings of Al-Hakim. So Al-Hakim is making wisdom in everything he created, and in whatever he was decreed, and the one who does the proper thing in the proper way, in the proper place and proper time, perfect, everything created perfectly, and nothing came in vain. Everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed is according to his wisdom. When we come to the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Hakim, in Quran, we'll find that as the name of Al-Hakim came around 42 times in the Quran. By gathering the ayat, or the verse that came with the name of Allah Al-Hakim, we found that around 12 ayahs or verse came in commandment and prohibitions. Other ayat regarding to the stories of the Prophet and speaking to the Prophet, the name of Allah all-wise came also during when about speaking, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaking about his creatures. Also it comes as among other names of beautiful names of Allah. It came also Al-Hakim as a character of the Quran. Well, Kitab Al-Hakim. Al-Hakim, it belongs to the Kitab, which is the Quran. Also, it comes regarding the rewards and punishments, challenging the deniers of the creators, and as also during supplications. Of course, we're going to have to, I picked up some of these meanings for you in this presentation from such meanings that came with the commandment and prohibition, which in this ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 129, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا وابعث فيهم رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياتك ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة ويزكيهم إنك أنت العزيز الحكيم. Our Lord, and send among them a messenger from themselves who will recite to them your verses and teach them the book and wisdom and purify them. Indeed, you are the exalted in might, the all-wise. This is in Surah Al-Baqarah. Actually, this ayah is containing a supplication, also a supplication from Prophet Ibrahim and his son Prophet Ismail while they were building the Kaaba. They said, or they made this supplication that they wished that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send the messenger, the last messenger that will teach the Muslims the book. The book is the Quran, and the wisdom, most of the scholars during their tafsir said the wisdom is a sunnah. So the Quran and sunnah, and purify them. So here we have the Quran and Sunnah. We came to the Quran and Sunnah, which are the main two sources of information in Islam. The name of Allah, all the wise, came. Another ayah in Surah Al-Imran, ayah 6 in Surah Al-Imran. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. هو الذي يصوركم في الأرحام كيف يشاء لا إله إلا هو العزيز الحكيم. So it is he who forms you in the wombs, however he wills. There is no deity except him, the exalted in might, the all-wise. Again, this is the name of Allah, all-wise, came during the speaking through the embryo in the wombs of the mother, or the beginning of the mankind, which is still in the embryo. So this is about the creation of the mankind. So the name of Allah, all-wise, here came. Another ayah in Surah Ibrahim, ayah 4, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِن رَسُولٍ إِلَّا بِلِسَانِ قَوْمِهِ لِيُبَيِّنَ لَهُمْ فَيُضِلُّ اللَّهُ مَن يَشَاءُ وَيَهْدِي مَن يَشَاءُ وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. And we didn't send any messenger except speaking in the language of his people to state clearly for them. And Allah sends astray thereby whom he wills and guide whom he wills. And he is exalted in might, the all-wise. This is regarding the sending of messengers and the messengers' stories, including, of course, I didn't bring all the verse regarding the stories of the prophets, but this is one of the ayahs that speak about the prophets and how that each prophet or every prophet came to his tribe by the language of their own language. And we said that Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam is different from other prophets, that he is the last prophet and he came to all the people in the whole world. All the people in the whole world, although that he came with an Arabic language, and that is the Arabic language, the language of the Arab Peninsula, but actually the message is for all the people, and all the people could be from non-Arabs, Muslims from all over, from different nationalities, as Islam different as the last for the last message, and it's wide and internationally for all the people. Again, in Surah An-Naml, we have Surah An-Naml, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ya Musa, innahu ana Allahu al-Aziz al-Hakim. O Moses, indeed it's I, Allah, the exalted in might, the all-wise. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the name of Allah, all-wise, is came with other names, where as Al-Aziz, the exalted in might, and Allah, and even I, that is the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is identifying himself for Prophet Moses. So this is another ayah that Al-Hakim came with other names of Allah. In Surah Luqman, as I mentioned, that Al-Hakim came as a description also of the book or the Quran. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تلك آيات الكتاب الحكيم. These are verses of the wise book. So here the all wise or the wise is came for description of the book, who is the Quran. As of course the Quran, as the book is containing the orders and all the commandments and prohibition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it came from Al-Aziz. So as we mentioned before, that the Quran is the words of Allah, so it's definitely the words of Allah. It will be also all wise, since it is wise, coming from the all wise, so his word also will be the all wise. Now we come to the benefits. How can we take the benefits of name of Allah Al-Hakim? The first benefit, as usual, we are knowing that by knowing the meanings of Al-Hakim, as we mentioned, we call him by his name. We call him when we need something to be done or something to be happen to us, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by his wisdom, is it good to be happen or not, just to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us if it is good, because by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wisdom, he knows what is good and what is bad, that not suitable us, or who is suitable for us. So the first thing is call Allah by his name. The second, to believe that everything around us created by Allah wisdom. Everything created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wisdom. It doesn't come haphazard. It doesn't come like by its chance or by nature or by, no. Everything, every small creatures that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created is according to Allah wisdom. This is very important. Another point, to believe that all events happening even to us are by Allah wisdom. It happens many times to most of us, that sometimes you apply for a faculty or for a university, and then something happened and you got the chance in another university, and by time you discovered that this is the most suitable for you. Also, if you are applying for new job, you were wishing a job, but what happened that you had a job in another place or another organization, so you feel that at the beginning you are not so happy about that, but by time you realize that Allah wisdom is making you in this place. So all the events happening in our life, also it's not coming by chance, it's coming by Allah wisdom. Although that we have the free decision making, but even though with our free decision making, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we said, by his all knowing and his foreknowing and his knowing that what we will choose and what we will have, so it happened by Allah wisdom even though. The other benefits that we can pick up from this majestic name, to keep our religious knowledge and the knowledge of Allah, and act wisely by such knowledge, which means that I should, as a Muslim lady or a Muslim girl, that to know about my deen or my religion, the basics of Islam I should know, the basics of Sunnah, the most important hadith. It's not important to memorize more than 3,000 hadiths, but at least the most important that related to our daily life, I should know, I should memorize, I should being solid in my mind, and start to act by such knowledge. And this is, dear sisters and dear daughters, this is very important thing, because we can speak for years and years coming, but when come to the situation, and when come to apply what we took in our knowledge, we find it not difficult sometimes for some of us, or it is not easy to do it. So this is very important to be wisely applying the knowledge. I just pick up two examples for that to be easier for understanding for the prayers and fasting, for example, during traveling. We know that all of us should fast Ramadan, and this is a commandment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But sometimes when you are traveling, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you an excuse to break your fast. I will take this excuse. I will not just say, no, I will continue. I have to act wisely, that I have the excuse, although it is Ramadan, for example, but I am breaking my fast because I have a long journey, and it's better for the continuation of proper mental thinking and proper management during my journey to break my fast. This is how to act wisely. It has nothing to do with your religion, that you have a higher iman or low iman, or high faith or low faith. It has to do with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger ordered you at that time. For example, the prayers, the same thing for the prayers. The prayers during traveling, I can make them shorter and gather them together, gather the Dhuhr and the Asr, and gather the Maghrib and the Isha. So I have to be wise in applying the knowledge I have. Also, another important point is to keep learning in our religion, because actually when we are continue to reciting Quran with tafsir, with explanation, continue reading in Asma Allah al-Husna and know more about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will put this life into context. We will put this life into its context. And this is very important, dear sisters, because sometimes we are overthinking about life. We are estimating. We usually took the problems in a hard way. If we know the nature of life, if we know what our mission in this life, we came here, why we came to this life? We came here to this life to worship Allah, number one. This is the most important, and for the da'wah, to invite others to Islam, and to establish the justice, and also to make the earth is development of the earth. Whatever I can develop, whatever my talent is, I go for my talent. I try to improve the society, the community around me. So this is the life. And although I have to do all these things, but I have also to put life in context, like Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam said, "Kun fi dunya ka'abir sabil." What is Abir Sabil? Abir Sabil is one who travel, and just during your traveling, you have a transit. If you have a transit with one of the two cities before you go to the final destination. So this transit, what you will do in this transit? You will just waiting for the next flight, and maybe you are drinking some juice or eating some food, 1 or 2, 3, 18 hours, 20 hours transit. And then after this transit, what will happen? You will leave. You will leave because this is not your final destination. This concept is very important to put to make it solid in our minds. It's not our final life. This dunya is not our final destination. Our final destination, inshallah, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it'll be in Jannah or paradise. So I have to have alongside for the paradise. So that makes me that I'm not overestimating. I'm not putting much on my burden on my shoulders about what happened and what should happen and what should I do. This is the wisdom. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Baqarah, as this ayah said, whoever is given wisdom is given a great good. A great good. وَمَنْ أُوتِيَ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. This is al-hikmah, or the wisdom, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that we must have it. So by this point, we finished the name of Allah Al-Hakim, and I hope that it's clear for all of us how to apply and to live with name of Allah Al-Hakim, by knowing that everything by Allah wisdom, and I have what I should do for applying or acting through my religion in a wisdom way. Now we'll come to the second name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Wasi'. Al-Wasi'. Of course, there is a ayn in the, as you see in the end of the word. It cannot pronounce in English, so it will be Al-Wasi', but it is Al-Wasi'. We have to pronounce the ayn, which means the boundless or the all-embracing. What Al-Wasi' means? Al-Wasi', the all-embracing. Embracing what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He embraces everything embraces everything in His mercy, in His forgiveness, and in His knowledge. This is how His mercy is very wide, also forgiveness and knowledge. All this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala embracing all these things. His sustenance reaches all His creation without exception. Sustenance of all the creation, all the universe, encompassing all these universe, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and maintaining the stability and maintaining the normality of this universe. Al-Ghazali is one of the scholars said that al-wasi', the vast, derives from expansiveness. The expansiveness is sometimes linked to knowledge, expansive in knowledge, when it extends to comprehend a multitude of objects. And at other times, the vast or expansiveness is linked to the charity and widespread blessings, extending as far as possible to whatever they descend upon. These meanings, we're going to have it now to be more easy for you. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His vast and expansiveness is including many, many things. Mercy, forgiveness, knowledge. As I will go to the ayat or the verse related to blessings and charity. If we go to the name of Allah, Al-Wasi', we'll find it around 9 times it comes by its name of Allah, Al-Wasi' in Quran. And it came in different meanings in ayat, the different meanings of the ayat, which was the end of the ayat is the Al-Wasi', like the encompassing all the universe with all the creatures Allah created. The universe ownership, the ownership of the universe belongs to Al-Wasi'. The vast and the expansiveness in charity acceptance, the vast and expansive in forgiveness, in righteous good deeds, in religion, in provision. Here we go through some of these meanings through the ayat that we have with us. In Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 115, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, وَلِلَّهِ الْمَشْرِقُ وَالْمَغْرِبُ فَأَيْنَمَا تُوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَاسِعٌ عَلِيمٌ. And to Allah belongs the east and the west. So wherever you might turn, there is a face of Allah. Indeed, Allah is all-encompassing and knowing. So in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that He is the owner of this universe. What we can see from the universe, we can see the east or the west, we can see the sky, you can see the sky, the sun or the moon. Wherever I will turn my face, I will see the creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there is a face of Allah, we said before, face of Allah, which when it comes to face of Allah, or in some ayahs, in other surahs, the hands of Allah, or this is, I should believe it as I believe in the Allah names and attributes without being compared or liking or negating or figuring it out. We don't have to do that, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. No, nothing is comparable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is one of the ayahs in Quran. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. Allah is not comparable to anything else. So when Allah said the face of Allah, means that we can see the creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah traces present in everything that we can see in this universe. That's why the name of Allah, all encompassing, here is coming. Why it's coming? Because of the vast universe that we can see. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَشْرِقُ وَالْمَغْرِبُ. So to Allah belong the east and west. Another example in Surah Al-Baqarah also, including another meaning of all encompassing related to charity acceptance. Charity acceptance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ كَمَثَلِ حَبَّةٍ أَنبَتَتْ 7 سَنَابِلَ فِي كُلِّ سُنبُلَةٍ 100 حَبَّةٍ والله يضاعف لمن يشاء والله واسع عليم. واسع. The example of those who spend their wealth in the way of Allah or for the sake of Allah is like a seed of grain which grows 7 spikes. In each spike is 100 grains, and Allah multiplies His rewards for whom He wills, and Allah is the all-encompassing and knowing. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is the all-encompassing related to how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward us, related to His reward to us, and how is He will accept our charity and giving lots of rewards according to His great name or majestic name, all-encompassing. This is another meaning of the name of Allah, Al-Wasi'. Another ayah, ayah 32 in Surah An-Najm, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الذين يجتنبون كبائر الإثم والفواحش إلا اللمم إن ربك واسع المغفرة. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about those who avoid the major sins and immoralities, only committing slight ones. Indeed, your Lord is vast in forgiveness. Is vast in forgiveness. Here, the name of Allah is coming not as only wasa, it's related to something else, or we said in Arabic it's mudaf ilayh, or it's attached to it. Vast in forgiveness. Your Lord is vast. It's giving the meaning of all-encompassing, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is specifying His expansiveness that we talked about, or the vast in forgiveness. Again, one of the meaning of all-encompassing for provision, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is providing us in Surah An-Nur. وأنكحوا الأيام منكم والصالحين من عبادكم وإمائكم إن يكونوا فقراء يغنيهم الله من فضله والله واسع عليم. If they should be poor, Allah will enrich them from His bounty, and Allah is all-encompassing and all-knowing. So if they are poor, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that if they are good deeds and doing the righteous deeds, so Allah will enrich them from His bounty. Why? Because Allah is the all-encompassing. So here, as we can see, the name of all-encompassing is coming for the provision and how people to be enriched even if they are poor. Now we'll come to the benefits of the name of Allah Al-Wasi'. From the meanings that we pick up that came from the meaning that Allah is all-encompassing and expansive in forgiveness, mercy, knowledge, and provision, and also a charity, acceptance, and rewarding. So wherever I have anything of those 4 or 5 things, I should call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by His name Al-Wasi' to make it wide for me, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open the things to be more wide, and to give me from His mercy, to give me from His forgiveness, to give me from His knowledge, because Allah is all-embracing. And the second point, that we have to believe that there is always a room for us with all our struggles and our mistakes and our faults. Allah is vast, no matter how broken we are, no matter where have been, no matter how many times we have messed up. There is a room for everyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, in Surah Al-An'am, my punishment I afflict with whom I will, and my mercy encompasses. Wasi'at, the word wasi'at is a verb, and wasi' is a noun, wasi'at is a verb. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, in this ayah, is talking about His mercy. My mercy encompasses all things. So we all things, yani we are just thing. We are very minute thing of Allah creatures. Allah creatures, masha, yani all the universe. If you just have a simple look, if you have turned on any video about the universe, you know how much we are very small, so small creatures regarding what all Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my mercy encompasses or وسعت all the things. So we have a hope. We have a hope whatever mistakes we did. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us a hope that He will, by His name, the all embracing, that He will embrace us, and with His mercy, He will embrace us with His forgiveness. Believe that forgiveness is Allah's forgiveness is all encompassing us, and believe that Allah's mercy is also all encompassing us. Here in this issue, I would like to have this story, which is actually a very inspiring story, happened to the three of the companions. The story of the three companions that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ supposed to have to go prepare the army to go for a ghazwa. And we said the ghazwa is a battle for the sake of Allah, and it's when we said the ghazwa means that Prophet Muhammad was with the people, he is the leader. Actually, he attended this battle. So if Prophet Muhammad attended the battle, it is a ghazwa. If he doesn't attend, it is Sariya. So it was actually a ghazwa, which called the Ghazwa Tabuk, where Prophet Muhammad supposed to have the army in order to have a battle which is very far away from the Medina. It was near Jordan at that time, to start to have the people there around the Rome at the Romanian Empire at that time, start Prophet Muhammad to begin the battle for Romanian Empire as in the cause, because one of his ambassador, they killed the ambassador of the Prophet Muhammad, that he had the message for them about Islam. So they killed this messenger and this ambassador, and Prophet Muhammad decided to go for those people because of what they did to this companion. So all the people in the Medina ready for going with Prophet Muhammad, except three. And other people, you know that in Medina there was hypocrites. Hypocrites were from those people that they pretend to be Muslims, but actually in their heart they are not. So they didn't go with Prophet Muhammad, and among them actually there is a true companion. They were very truly believers, but for a way or another they have like laziness, and they found it to just postpone, and then they may later on they can catch up the army, but this has not happened, and the army started to be away from them. And when they returned back, Prophet Muhammad, they didn't speak to them. Also, the Sahaba didn't speak to them, or the companion. And this was very difficult. And they stayed around 40 days. They are not. No one in Medina speak to them. And at that time, they had a very bad feelings. This bad feeling actually was described in this ayah, which is this ayah in Surah At-Tawbah, ayah 118. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, after this time passed 40 days, and those companions, no one spoke to them. And He also forgave the three who were left behind. Left behind means they didn't go with the army, to the point that the earth closed in on them in spite of its vastness, and their souls confined them, and they were certain that there is no refuge from Allah except in Him. Then He turned to them so they could repent. Indeed, Allah is accepting of repentance and the most merciful. Here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing the psychology of such people, but by a message of 40 days, no one spoke to them from the Sahaba or Prophet even, and how they feel that though the earth being closed on them, and they're being suffocated by their souls, that their souls is confined to them. They cannot breathe. They cannot breathe, actually, because of the regretting that they have, and the bad feelings that they didn't go with the army, and actually they didn't have any excuse. And even when Prophet Muhammad at the beginning, they went for him and said, we don't have excuse, we are definitely wrong, what we did was wrong. And actually this what saved them. And this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in next ayah in the same surah said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين, which means that all your believers, you should be with the truth tellers, because the truth, when they told the truth, this was their saving. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved them because they told the truth, not like the hypocrites who said many excuses, which was not right. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here speaks about the three companions who abandoned the Muslim in their time of need, how they regretted and how they felt like the earth was closing on them, that their souls are confined. But what happened? There is no refuge from Allah except to Him. And Allah accepted them. That constriction that they felt was released and they could pray. Allah's vastness allows you to pray. And this may happen to any one of us when you commit something, you commit sin, or you commit bad deeds, or something bad happened to you. You feel at sometimes that you cannot breathe. You cannot breathe, although that there is no one is trying to kill you or something like, or attacking you. But from all the sins around you, or from what you did, or for your commit, or for the mess in your life, you may pass through this moment that you feel that everything that khalas, you cannot breathe. It's something very dark in every direction. So when it has like this, when you go and repent for Allah at that time, quickly, immediately repent to Allah, and you will find the vastness, the vast of Allah in forgiveness. Allah's religion also is vast. What does it mean? We all have things that are obligatory upon us, like the prayers, the fasting, to have good deeds. But beyond that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us different talents and passions. We told to show our gratitude to Allah in different ways. And this is what came in Sunnah, in authentic Sunnah. When Prophet Muhammad said, your smile for your brother is charity. Allah will aid the servant of his long as the servant aids his brother. May Allah mercy be upon on him who is lenient in his buying, which means so kind-hearted and easygoing, selling, and in demanding back his money. And actually, these three situations, actually, you can know the personality in front of you when he's buying, when he's selling, when he's demanding back his money. This is the most critical time that you know the person, really the personality, if he is easygoing, he is kind, or he is selfish, or he is greedy, or all these meanings is very obvious in such three positions. That's why Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam in Hadith Sahih, he mentioned those three situations. So what I want to say by the religion is vast, that you have a vast of doing good deeds. You have the obligatory things that you have to do, and also you have the voluntary and the additional worshipping of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Charity can be by just smiling, whether the Muslim or non-Muslim, just smiling, you will take a charity. You will take a rewards when you help your brother or your sister. You will take a rewards or the mercy of Allah when you are easygoing with people. This is very important meanings to have from this hadith. So to end and to wrap up with the name of Allah Al-Wasi. Remember that Allah is vast, and so is His religion. He will accept you with His mercy, there is enough space for you with all your mistakes. His mercy, His forgiveness. So all the time return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever you feel, whatever you have bad feelings from mistakes, from sins, from anything you think that it's not good. So please, always repent quickly and come back to Allah, and you will find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala vastness, expansiveness, So don't worry. Don't worry. You will find your place. You will find your room. You will find your site. So just repent. Just come to Allah. Increase your knowledge and act by your knowledge. Act wisely to have benefits from the name of Allah All-Wise. Trust in Allah and believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will include you in His mercy, will include you in His forgiveness. And inshallah, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive all of us and to shower His mercy and His bounty on all of us. Jazakum Allahu khairan. And this is the end of my presentation. I hope it was easy for us today with these two majestic names. I really impressed with them. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.